Wear mittens.
Hey yo, Crin Vlog. Venom Pool was good with you, baby. I mic check, mic check. Hey yo, can y'all hear me? I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Hey yo, we trying to do this debate and we trying to. What's up with you, VP? What's up with you, Cream? Hey yo, we trying to. We gonna do this debate, man. Hopefully I don't get shut down. We gonna watch it together here live stream. Oh shit. Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put my never surrender in it. Hey baby. How you doing? I love you, never surrender, baby. It's so good to see you. I was thinking about your ass. I came to visit you the other day. I hope all is well. I hope you're safe. I hope you doing good. Hola, Ovito. That's what I say when I see my Lucia Dito. Lucia Dito. My Lucia Dito. I see you, Lucia D. Hey, this shit's supposed to start at 9 o'clock.
Good evening from Belmont University in
There we
Nashville,
go.
Tennessee. I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is conducted under health and safety protocols.
I'm gonna give a little
designed by
commentary,
the Commission's health security
but we're gonna mainly
The
listen.
audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions, except right now, as he welcomes to the stage former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J. Trump.
Ruby, mira, mamita, Satita. Hola, Ruby. Mo. Mwah. Ruby, I love you, baby. We're gonna try to get Donald Trump out of here so I can bring you to America, Ruby. I don't want to bring you to America while Donald Trump's president. It's not safe.
And I do want to say a very good evening to both of you. This debate will cover 6 major topics. At the beginning of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question. The debate commission will then turn on their microphone only when it is their turn to answer, and the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired. After that, both microphones will remain on, but on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask you to please speak one at a time. The goal is for you to hear each other and for the American people to hear every word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start. And we will begin with the fight against the coronavirus. President Trump, the first question is for you. The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee. And since the two of you last shared a stage, 16,000 Americans have died from COVID. So please be specific. How would you lead the country during this next stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
So, as you know, 2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die. We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China. It's a worldwide pandemic. It's all over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now. If you notice, the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas. It's now gone. There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone. and there are some spikes and surges in other places. They will soon be gone. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute the vaccine. I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital. I had it, and I got better. And I will tell you that I had something that they gave me, a therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure. But I was in for a short period of time, and I got better very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight. And now they say I'm immune. Whether it's 4 months or a lifetime, nobody's been able to say that, but I'm immune. More and more people are getting better. We have a problem that's a worldwide problem. This is a worldwide problem. But I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles and masks and gowns and everything else, and in particular ventilators, we're now making ventilators all over the world, thousands and thousands a month, distributing them all over the world. It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
Okay, former Vice President Biden, to you, how would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
220,000 Americans dead. Hear nothing else I say tonight. Hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America. We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day, and there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to what's going on in Europe, as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead time between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the President's own advisors have told them, we could save 100,000 lives. And we're in a circumstance where the President thus far still has no plan, no comprehensive plan. What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe, and give them the wherewithal, the financial resources to be able to do that. We're in a situation now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, said for the first time ever that the way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
President Trump, I'd like to follow up with you in your comments. You talked about taking a therapeutic. I assume you're referencing Regeneron. You also said a vaccine will be coming within weeks. Is that a guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of the year. But I think it has a good chance. There are two companies, I think, within a matter of weeks, and it will be distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well, and we have numerous others. Then we also have others that we're working on very closely with other countries, in particular Europe.
Let me follow up with you, because this is new information. You have said a vaccine is coming soon, within weeks now. Your own officials say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated. And even then, they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
I think my timeline is going to be more accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the head of logistics, and this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine, and we expect to have 100 million vials as soon as we have the vaccine. He's ready to go.
Vice President Biden, your reaction, and just 40% of Americans say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the scientists of the world see it, know it, look at it, go through all the processes. And by the way, this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter, And he has no clear plan, and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction says you have no plan.
We don't have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, "Oh, I should have, moved quicker." But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me. And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a total disaster. Far less lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now. But it was a far less lethal disease. Look, his own person who ran that for him, who, as you know, was his chief of staff, said it was catastrophic. It was horrible. We didn't know what we were doing. He comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done. We've done all of it. But he was way behind us.
Vice President Biden, your response.
Our response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down access from China. And he did it late after 40 countries had already done that. In addition to that, what he did, he made sure that we had 44 people that were in there in China trying to get to Wuhan to determine what exactly the source was. What did the president say in January? He said, no, he said, he's being transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him. And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense Act to make sure we go out and get whatever is needed out there to protect people. And again, I go back to this. He had nothing. He did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital and he talks about, don't worry, it's all going to be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious scientist in the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
President Trump, your reaction?
I say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that. I'd love to put myself in the basement or in a beautiful room in the White House and go away for a year and a half until it disappears. I can't do that. And here's every meeting I had, and I'd meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families and military. Every meeting I had, and I had to meet them. I had to. It would be horrible to have canceled everything. I said, this is dangerous, and you catch it. And I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals, and now I recovered. 99.9 of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk broadly about strategy, though.
Can I respond to that?
30 seconds, please, and then I have a question.
Number one, he says that we're learning to live with it. People are learning to die with it. You folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning. That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over to try to touch their, out of habit, where their wife or husband was, is gone. Learning to live with it. Come on. We're dying with it. Because he's never said, he said it's dangerous. When's the last time? Is it really dangerous still? Are we dangerous? You tell the people it's dangerous now? What should they do about the danger? And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your...
Excuse me, I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that it came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's fault that it came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
Vice President Biden.
The fact is that when we knew it was coming, when it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry. It's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. Warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said he was kidding when he said that. A lot of people thought it was serious. A whole range of things the president has said. Even today, he thinks we are in control. We're about to lose 200,000 more people.
President Trump.
Look, perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. What, Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even. And because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You certainly did. You certainly did.
I talked about a xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handle
He
it.
thought I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well,
That's obvious.
do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about your different strategies toward dealing with this. Mr. Vice President, you suggested you would support new shutdowns if scientists recommended it. What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused the country to have to shut down in large part. Why businesses have gone under, why schools are closed, why so many people have lost their living, and why they're concerned. Those other concerns are real. That's why he should have been, instead of in a sand trap in his golf course, he should have been negotiating with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about what to do about the acts they were passing for billions of dollars to make sure people had the capacity.
You haven't ruled out more shutdowns.
Well, no, I'm not shutting down the name, but there are, look, it needs standard. The standard is if you have a reproduction rate in a community that's above a certain level, everybody says, slow up, more social distancing, do not open bars and do not open gymnasium, do not open until you get this under control, under more control. But when you do open, give the people the capacity to be able to open and have the capacity to do it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to go. They need to deal with ventilation systems. They need to deal with smaller classes, more teachers, more pods. And he's refused to support that money, or at least up to now.
Let's talk about schools. President Trump,
I think we have to respond if I might.
please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns, but forget about him. His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Democrats all, they're shut down so tight, and they're dying. They're dying. And he supports all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we have to open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people, I guess it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small. But I want to open the schools. We have to open our country. We're not going to have a country. You can't do this. We can't keep this country closed. It's a massive country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. There's abuse, tremendous abuse. We have to open our country. You know, I've said it often. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. That's what's happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country if one person in our massive bureaucracy says we should close it down.
Vice President Biden, your response.
Simply not true. We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We ought to be able to safely open, but they need resources to open. You need to be able to, for example, if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with saying that what we're going to make sure that we open safely. And by the way, all you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it. Come on.
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
By the way, I will say this. If you go and look at what's happening to New York, It's a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And when you talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic. These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't. Take a look at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look at what New York has done in terms of turning the curve down in terms of the number of people dying. And I don't look at this in terms of the way he does. Blue states and red states. They're all the United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest. That's where the spike is occurring significantly. But they're all Americans. They're all Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses need, that money's already been passed to do that. It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing's happened.
Listen, New York has lost more than 40,000 people, 11,000 people in nursing homes.
President Trump, what
When you
about...
say spike, take a look at what's happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed. Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now it was just ruled unconstitutional. Take a look at North Carolina. They're having spikes, and they've been closed, and they're getting killed financially. We can't let that happen, Joe. You can't let that happen. We have to open up, and we understand the disease. We have to protect our seniors. We have to protect our elderly. We have to protect especially our seniors with heart problems and diabetes problems, and we will protect it. We have the best testing in the world by far. That's why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up with you before we move on to our next section. President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's best-known infectious disease expert, quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts as, quote, idiots. If you're not listening to them, who are you listening to?
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony. But he did say, don't wear masks. He did say, as you know, this is not going to be a problem. I think he's a Democrat, but that's okay. He said this is not going to be a problem. We are not going to have a problem at all. When Joe says that, I said, Anthony Fauci said, and others, and many others, and I'm not knocking him a lot. Nobody knew. Look, nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where it was coming from, what it was. We've learned a lot. But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks. Anthony also said, if you look back, exact words, here's his exact word. This is no problem. This is going to go away soon. So he's allowed to make mistakes. He happens to be a good person.
Vice President Biden, your response quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
My response is that think about what the president knew in January and didn't tell the American people. He was told this was a serious virus that spread in the air, and it was much worse than the flu. He went on record and said to one of your colleagues, recorded, that in fact he knew how dangerous it was, but he didn't want to tell us. He didn't want to tell us because he didn't want us to panic. He didn't want us, Americans don't panic. He panicked. But guess what? In the meantime, we find out in the New York Times the other day that in fact his folks went to Wall Street and said this is a really dangerous thing, and the memo out of that meeting, not from his administration, but from some of the brokers, said sell short because we got to get moving. It's a dangerous problem.
Well, this is
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then we're
the
going
Wall
to
Street
move on.
one, I don't know. Somebody went to Wall Street. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it. You have raised a lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made. I could raise so much more money. As president and as somebody that knows most of those people, I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company in America. I would blow away every record, but I don't want to do that because it puts me in a bad position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that, like you wouldn't believe. We don't need money. We have plenty of money. In fact, we beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money that she was able to.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to move on.
Average contribution, $43.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is national security. And I do want to start with the security of our elections and some breaking news from overnight. Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that both Russia and Iran are working to influence this election. Both countries have obtained U.S. voter registration information, these officials say, and Iran sent intimidating messages to Florida voters. This question goes to you, Mr. Vice President. What would you do to put an end to this threat? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
I made it clear. I asked everyone else to take the pledge. I made it clear that any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price. It's been overwhelmingly clear this election. I won't even get into the last one. This election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learned that Iran is involved. They will pay a price if I'm elected. They're interfering with American sovereignty. That's what's going on right now. They're interfering with American sovereignty. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think the president said anything to Putin about it. I don't think he's talking to him a lot. I don't think he said a word. I don't know why he hadn't said a word to Putin about it. And I don't know what he has recently said, if anything, to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken with regard to the Iranians. But the point is this, folks. We are in a situation where we have foreign countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, his buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens? Nothing happens. And then you find out that everything that's going on here about Russia is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually paying bounties to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan, when he's engaged in activities that are trying to destabilize all of NATO. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question, why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
President Trump, same question to you. Let me ask the question. You're going to have 2 minutes to respond. For 2 elections in a row now, there has been substantial interference from foreign adversaries. What would you do in your next term to put an end to this? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Well, let me respond to the first part, as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife, and you got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million, and you know, someday you're gonna have to explain why did you get 3.5. I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money from Russia. Now, about your thing last night, I knew all about that, and through John Ratcliffe, who was fantastic, he said one thing that's common to both of them: they both want you to lose, because there has been nobody tougher than Russia. Between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, you know, I've got the NATO countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420 billion a year. That's to guard against Russia. I sold, while he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. There has been nobody tougher on Russia than Donald Trump. And I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port. You remember that very well. During your term, during you and Barack Obama, they took over a big part of what should have been Ukraine. You handed it to them, but you were getting a lot of money from Russia. They were paying you a lot of money, and they probably still are. But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening, and it should have never happened. And I think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family, but what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Vice President Biden, you may respond.
Yes,
and then I do want to follow up on the election security.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. We learned this president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank account with China, does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any country whatsoever, ever. Number one. Number two, this is a president, I have released all of my tax returns, 22 years. Go look at them. 22 years of my tax return. You have not released a single solitary year of your tax What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling to? The foreign countries are paying you a lot. Russia's paying you a lot. China's paying you a lot. And your hotels and all your businesses all around the country, all around the world. And China's building a new road to a new a golf course you have overseas. So what's going on here? Why don't you release your tax return or stop talking about corruption?
President Trump, your response.
First of all, I called my accountants, under audit. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it. And it'll show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago, I said, what did I pay? They said, sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax. Tens over the last number of years. Tens of millions of dollars I prepaid. Because at some point they think it's an estimate. They think I may have to pay tax. So I already prepaid it. Nobody told me that.
Did your account
Nobody told you that.
Excuse
Me. And it wasn't written whenever they write this. They keep talking about $750, which I think is a filing fee. But let me just tell you, I prepaid millions and millions of dollars in taxes. Number one. Number two, I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. I don't know, maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask you both some questions about all of this. I'm going to let you both respond very quickly. You just said you spoke to your accountant about potentially releasing your taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them to you? Have a deadline for when you're going to release them?
I get treated worse than the Tea Party got treated. Because I have a lot of people in there, deep down in the IRS, they treat me horribly. We made a deal, it was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly. But we had a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called prepaying your taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about questions regarding your potential foreign entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance to talk about this more broadly. Respond very quickly, and then I'll get to your question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years you're going to release your taxes. Nobody knows, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he said what he paid, he said, I only pay that little because I'm smart. I know how to game the system. Come on. Come on.
So,
President Trump, and then I want to get to two questions to both of you.
I was put through a phony witch hunt for 3 years. It started before I even got elected. They spied on my campaign. No president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me just say this. Mueller and 18 angry Democrats and FBI agents all over the place spent $48 million. They went through everything I had, including my tax returns, and they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong. 48 million. I guarantee you, if I spent 1 million on you, Joe, I could find plenty wrong. Because the kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has taken, I mean, your brother made money in Iraq, millions of dollars. Your other brother made a fortune, and it's all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it, and you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask some questions about all of this broadly. Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board of a Risma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing, number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do, because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had it. The only guy that made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
President Trump,
deal with
let me
that.
ask my question to you.
But could I just one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month. Listen to this. $183,000, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy.
I'm going to let the vice president
That's
respond to that quickly,
100%
and then I need to get to a
dishonest.
question to you. Very
No
quickly.
basis for that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Okay, President Trump, this is for you. Since you took office, you never divested from your business. You personally promoted your properties abroad. A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflict of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was a businessman doing business. The bank account you're referring to, which is everybody knows about it, it's listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was open to do. It was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China, like millions of other people. I was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, unlike him, where he's vice president and he does business, I then decided to run for president after that. That was before. So I closed it before I even ran for president, let alone became president. Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich. They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're sucking up money every
President Trump,
place he
thank you. We
goes.
do
Not
need to
true.
move on. I do want to ask you, Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about China more broadly. There have, of course, President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus. If you were president, would you make China pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
What I'd make China do is play by the international rules, not like he has done. He has caused the deficit in China to go up, not down, with China, up, not down. We are making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give all your intellectual property. You have to have a partner in China that's 51%. We would not do that at all, number one. Number two, we're in a situation where China would have to play by the rules internationally as well. When I met with Xi, and when I was still vice president, he said we're setting up air identification zones in the South China Sea. You can't fly through them. I said, we're going to fly through them. We just flew B-52, B-1 bombers through it. We're not going to pay attention. They have to play by the rules. And what's he do? He embraces guys like the thugs like in North Korea and the Chinese president and Putin and others, and he pokes his finger in the eye of all of our friends, all of our allies. We make up we're 25% of the world's economy. We need to be having the rest of our friends with us saying to China, these are the rules. You play by them or you're going to pay the price for not paying by them economically. That's the way I will run it, and that's what we did in upholding steel tariffs and a range of other things when we were president and vice president.
All right, let's talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, no, I have to respond to that.
Okay, very quickly, and then we're going to move on to
with
North
$1.5 billion from China after
true.
spending 10 minutes in office and being in Air Force Two, number one. Number two, there's a very strong email talking about your family wanting to make $10 million a year for introductions.
President Trump on China policy, though. What
No, but
specifically
wait a
are you going to do? What specifically are you going to do to make China pay? You said you're going
First
to
of
make
all,
them pay.
China is paying. They're paying billions and billions of dollars. I just gave
New
$28 billion.
sanctions? New sanctions?
I just gave $28 billion to our farmers.
Taxpayers' money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money. It
No,
comes
no,
from
yeah,
China.
you know the taxpayer is, it's called China. China
Not
paid
true.
$28 billion, and you know what they did to pay it, Joe? They devalued their currency, and they also paid up. And you know who got the money? Our farmers, our great farmers, because they were targeted. You never charged them anything. Also, I charged them 25% on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry.
Okay,
And now we have a steel
okay.
industry.
Vice President Biden, your response, please.
Our response is, look, this isn't about, there's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family. And your family's hurting badly. If you're making less than, if you're a middle-class family, you're getting hurt badly right now. You're sitting at the kitchen table this morning deciding, well, we can't get new tires for the ball because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay the mortgage? Who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making. The middle-class families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont, they're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
I want to talk about North Korea. I do want to turn to 10 seconds, Mr. President. 10 seconds.
Political statement. Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk about
I'm not
North
a typical
Korea.
politician.
Okay.
That's why I got elected.
Let's
get off the subject of China. Let's talk around sitting around the table.
All right.
Come on, Joe, you can do better.
We're going to talk about North Korea now. President Trump met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times. You've talked about your beautiful letters with him. You've touted the fact that there hasn't been a war or a long-range missile test. And yet North Korea recently rolled out its biggest ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to develop its nuclear arsenal. Do you see that as a betrayal of the relationship? Before it's just 30 seconds here because we need to get on to the next.
So when I met with Barack Obama, we sat in the White House right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with is North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what? It would be a nuclear war. And he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people, Seoul, you know, is 25 miles away, millions and millions, 32 million in Seoul. Millions of people would be dead right now.
President Trump, that's 30 seconds. Thank you. Vice President Biden, to you, North Korea conducted 4 nuclear tests under the Obama administration. Why do you think you would be able to rein in this persistent threat?
Because I'd make it clear, which we were making clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's the ring. I made it clear as the spokesperson of the administration when I went to China that they said, why are you moving your missile defense up so close? Why are you moving more forces here? Why are you continuing to do military maneuvers with South Korea? I said, because North Korea is a problem, and we're going to continue to do it so we can control them. We're going to make sure we can control them and make sure they cannot hurt us. And so if you want to do something about it, step up and help. If not, it's going to continue. What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about his good buddy, who's a thug, and he talks about how we're better off. And they have much more capable missiles, able to reach U.S. territory much more easily than ever did before.
Let me follow up with you, Vice President Biden. You've said you wouldn't meet with Kim Jong-un without preconditions. Are there any conditions under which you would meet with him?
On the condition that he would agree that he would be drawing down his nuclear capacity to get the Korean Peninsula should be a nuclear-free zone.
All right, let's move on to American families.
They tried
Very
to
quickly,
meet with
10
him.
seconds, President.
They tried to meet with him. He wouldn't do it. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like him. He wouldn't do it.
Okay, I gotta give him a chance to respond to that
He
before we
wouldn't
move
do
on.
it. And that's okay. You know what? North Korea, we're not in a war. We have a good relationship. You know, people love us. Having a good relationship
Trump,
with
we have to
leaders of
move
other
on.
countries is a
We
good thing.
have a lot of questions to get to.
I
Your
was
response.
saying we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe, the rest of Europe. Come on. The reason he would not meet with President Obama is because President Obama said, we're going to talk about denuclearization. We're not going to legitimize you. We're going to continue to put stronger and stronger sanctions on you. That's why he wouldn't meet with us.
All right,
And it
let's
didn't
move
happen.
on. Let's move on and talk about
He left
American
me a
families.
mess, Kristen.
President Trump, okay, we do
They
need to move
left
on.
me a mess. North Korea was a mess.
We
And
need
in fact,
to
if
move on
you
so that
remember
we
the
can
first
get to
2
all
or
of our
3
other
months,
questions tonight.
there was a very dangerous period of my first 3 months before we sort of worked things out a little bit. There was a very, they left us a mess. And Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought that our country.
Okay, let's move on to American families and the economy. One of the issues that's most important to them is health care, as you both know. Today there was a key vote on a new Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and health care is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million Americans get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. It's headed to the Supreme Court, and your administration, Mr. President, is advocating for the court to overturn it. If the Supreme Court does overturn that law, those 20 million Americans could lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what would you do if those people have their health insurance taken away? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Sure. First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision. Run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it, and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare, because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better health care, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare and come up with a brand new, beautiful health care. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time. And I think we're going to win the House, okay? You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better health care, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important, we have 180 million people out there that have great private health care. Far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care, people that have been successful, middle-income people, been successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families, under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine. He won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on health care, and we're going to do even better.
Okay, Vice President Biden, yes, this is for you. Your health care plan calls for building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option. Become Biden-care. Public option is an option that says that if you, in fact, do not have the wherewithal to be, if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically enroll, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're going to make sure we reduce the premiums and reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now by allowing the Medicare to negotiate drug prices with the insurance companies. Thirdly, the idea that I want to eliminate private insurance, the reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why I did not one single person with private insurance would lose their insurance under my plan, nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to something else. Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None. Zero. You can't do it in the ether. He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan the same time we get the infrastructure plan that we waited since 17, 18, 19, 20. The fact, I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious. The fact is that he's already cost the American people, because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and economic spillover, 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away 22 million more people who have it under Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions. And all the people from COVID are going to have pre-existing conditions. What are they going to do?
I have a follow-up for you, Vice President Biden. It relates to something that President Trump said. He's accusing you of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have concerns that your health care plan, which includes a government insurance option, takes the country one step closer to a health care system run entirely by the government?
They say it's ridiculous. It's like saying that, the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think healthcare is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have the right to have affordable healthcare. And I am very proud of my plan. It's gotten endorsed by all the major labor unions as well as a whole range of other people who in fact are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people an opportunity to have health care for their children. How many of you home are worried and rolling around in bed tonight wondering what in God's name you're going to do if you get sick? Because you've lost your home insurance, your health insurance, your company's gone up. We have to provide health insurance for people at an affordable rate. That's what I do.
President Trump,
Excuse me, he was there for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine, just like you went with fracking. We're not going to have fracking. We're going to stop fracking. We're going to stop fracking. Then he goes to Pennsylvania after he gets a nomination, where he got very lucky to get it. And he goes to Pennsylvania, and he says, oh, we're going to have fracking. And you never ask that question. And by the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this, I have to say.
By the way,
but somebody should ask the question.
You can ask.
He goes for a year. There will be
we
no
have
fracking.
a number of topics. We're
No,
going
but
to get
that's
to.
a big question.
We're going to get to. We're going to get to.
It's the same thing with socialized
I have to
medicine.
respond.
Vice President, your response.
My response is people deserve to have affordable health care, period. Period, period, period. And the Biden care proposal will, in fact, provide for that affordable health care, lower premiums. What we're going to do is going to cost some money. It's going to cost over $750 billion over 10 years to do it. And they're going to have lower premiums. You can buy into the better plans, cheaper plans, lower your premiums, deal with unexpected billing, and have your drug prices drop significantly. He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done a thing for anybody on health care. Not a thing.
Kristen, when
Very
he
quickly,
says,
then I want to talk
when
about
he
what's
says
happening on
public
Capitol
option,
Hill.
he's talking about socialized medicine. And when he and healthcare. When he talks about a public option, he's talking about destroying your Medicare, totally destroying your Social Security, and this whole country will come down. You know, Bernie Sanders tried it in his state. He tried it in his state. His governor was a very liberal governor. They want to make it work.
Okay, let's let Vice President Biden respond.
It doesn't
Vice
work.
President Biden
Very
respond.
confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden. I beat all those other people because I disagreed with them. Joe Biden he's running against. And the idea that we're in a situation that they're going to destroy Medicare, this is the guy that the actuary at Medicare said, if in fact, at Social Security, if in fact he continues to withhold his plan to withhold the tax on Social Security, Social Security will be bankrupt by 2023 with no way to make up for it. This is the guy who's tried to cut Medicare. So no, I mean, the idea that Donald Trump is lecturing me on Social Security and Medicare, come on.
He tried to get
10
rid of.
seconds,
He
Mr.
tried to hurt
President, then I
Social
have to go to
Security
another
years
question.
ago. Years ago. Go back and look at the records. He tried to hurt Social Security years ago.
All right, let's move on. I'm going to move on. Mr. President, I have to move on to the next question.
He said
or
the
else
stock
we're not
market
going to
will
have time to
boom
talk about it.
if I'm elected. If he's elected, the stock market will crash.
Okay, let's move
Biggest
on to the
analysts are
next
saying
question.
The mayor's
Very quickly.
Look, the idea that the stock market is moving is his only measure of what's happening. Where I come from in Scranton and Claremont, the people don't live off the stock market. Just in the last three years during this crisis, the billionaires in this country made, according to the Wall Street, $700 billion more. $700 billion more, because that's his only measure. What happens to the ordinary people out there? What happens to them?
Let's talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill. We're going to move on.
401ks are through the roof.
We're going to
The
move on.
stock are through the roof.
All right.
And he doesn't come from Scranton. That's like he lived there for a short period of time before he even knew
we're
it.
going to move on
And
to
he
the next
left.
question.
And the people of Pennsylvania
Let me
will
move
show
on
you
to my
that
next question,
they
gentlemen.
understand.
As of tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work, and as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need? 30 seconds here.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House, because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats, in all fairness. This one she doesn't want. It's near the election because she thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
All right, Mr. Vice President,
You know, the Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it. He will not be able to pass it. He does not have Republican votes. Why ain't he talking to his Republican friends?
let me follow up with you, Vice President.
We made a
Biden,
deal.
because let me ask Vice President Biden the question. You are the leader of the Democratic Party. Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American people?
Well, I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act all the way back in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion, I was able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets, to states that have to balance their budgets, and then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement officers, so they can keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that. They have not done a thing for them. And Mitch McConnell said, let them go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt. Come on. What's the matter with
The
these
bill that was
guys?
passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high crime, Democrat, all run by Democrats, cities and states. It was a way of getting a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars to these kids. It was also a way of getting a lot of money from our people's pockets to people that come into our country illegally. We were going to take care of everything for them. And what that does, and I'd love to do that, I'd love to help them, but what that does, everybody all over the world will start pouring into our country. We can't do it. This was a way of taking care of them. This was a way of spending on things that had nothing to do with COVID, as per your question. But it was really a big bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
All right,
By the way,
I want
if I get elected, I'm running as a proud Democrat. I'm going to be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States. And folks, every single state out there finds themselves in trouble. They're going to start laying off, whether they're red or blue, cops, firefighters, first responders, because teachers, because they have to balance their budget. And the founders were smart. They allowed the federal government to deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about the minimum wage, gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, we are talking a lot about struggling small businesses and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 minimum
I
wage.
do, because I think one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out too. We should be bailing them out now, those small businesses. You got 1 in 6 of them going under. They're not going to be able to make it back. They passed a package that allows us to be able to call PPP. Money is supposed to go to help them do everything from organize how they can deal with their businesses being open safely. Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. Businesses as well as the schools need the help. But these guys will not help them. It's not giving them any of the money.
We are going to move on to immigration,
very
but I
quickly,
want
he
to
said
get
we
your
have to help our
reaction.
small businesses by raising the minimum wage. That's not helping. I think it should be a state option. Alabama is different than New York. New York is different from Vermont. Every state is different. It should be a state option.
You said very
We have to
recently.
help. It's very important. We have to help our small businesses.
You
How
said
are you helping your small businesses when you're forcing wages? What's going to happen, and what's been proven to happen, is when you do that, these small businesses fire many of their employees.
You said
Not
very
true,
recently you would
by the way.
consider raising the federal minimum
it.
wage to $15
Say
an
it.
hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to $15
What I
an hour.
really
Is that
like,
still the case?
and I would consider it to an extent, but
In a
what I
second
really
administration?
like, in a second administration, but not to a level that's going to put all these businesses out of business. It should be a state option. Look, I live in different places. I know different places. They're all different. Some places, $15 is not so bad. In other places, places, other states, $15 for
Okay, President Trump, thank you. Quick response, Vice President Biden.
2 jobs, 1 job, be below poverty. People are making $6, $7, $8 an hour. These first responders, we all clap for as they come down the street because they've allowed us to make it. What's happening? They deserve a minimum wage of $15. Anything below that puts you below the poverty level. And there is no evidence that when you raise the minimum wage, businesses go out of business. That is simply not true.
We're going to talk about immigration. We're going to talk about immigration now, gentlemen. And we're going to talk about families within this context. Mr. President, your administration separated children from their parents at the border, at least 4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero-tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through.
But how will you reunite these kids with their families?
Let me just tell you, they built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages, and then they had a picture in a certain newspaper. There was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them, and then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you have a plan to reunite the kids?
Yes, we're working on it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over through cartels and through coyotes and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this conversation. Quick response and then another question.
These 500 plus kids came with parents. They separated them at the border to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. They real tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot, it's not coyotes didn't bring them over, their parents were with them. They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Let me ask you a follow-up question.
They did it, we changed the policy.
Your response
they
to that?
Did it, we changed.
Did not
they built the
separate.
cages. Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about
who built the cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about. What happened? Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped from their arms and separated. And now they cannot find over 500 sets of those parents, and those kids are alone. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. It's criminal. It's criminal.
Let me ask
Kristen,
you about
I will say
it.
this. They went down, we brought reporters, everything. They are so well taken care of. They're in facilities that were so clean.
But some of them haven't been reunited.
But just ask one question. Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask him that. Who built the cages?
Let me ask about your immigration policy, Mr. Vice President. The Obama administration did fail to deliver immigration reform, which had been a key promise during the administration. It also presided over record deportations as well as family detentions at the border before changing course. So why should voters trust you with an immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people. And all of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy and they want to do that is they're going to a country they've never seen before. I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are taking you across the Rio Grande River and it's illegal. You say, oh no, Mom, leave me here. I'm not going to go with you. They've been here. Many of them are model citizens. Over 20,000 of them are first responders out there taking care of people during this crisis. We owe them. We owe them.
Kristen, he had 8 years to do what he said he was going to do. And I've changed without having a specific. We got rid of catch and release. We got rid of a lot of horrible things that they put in and that they lived with. But he had 8 years he was vice president. He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Vice President Biden, your response.
The catch and release, you know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across, they were arrested, they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing, they were released, and guess what? They showed up. we're hearing. This is the first president in the history of the United States of America that anybody seeking asylum has to do it in another country. That's never happened before in America. That's never happened before in America. You come to the United States and you make your case that I seek asylum based on the following premise: why I deserve it under American law. They're sitting in squalor on the other side of the river.
President Trump, your response,
So
30
important.
seconds, and then we'll
It
move
just shows that he has no understanding of immigration or the laws. Catch and release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in. We would take their name. We have to release them into our country. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to send ICE out and Border Patrol out to find them. We would say, come back in 2 years, 3 years. We're going to give you a court case. You did Perry Mason. We're going to give you a court case. When you say they come back, they don't come back, Joe. They never come back. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay, President Trump, let's give Vice President Biden a chance to respond, and then we're going to move on to the
You don't
next
know the
section.
law, Joe.
Vice President Biden, your response.
No, the law he's telling me was simply not true.
Well, check it out. They don't come back.
Check it out.
All right, let's move
But
on
we don't have to
the
worry
next
about it. They
section.
terminated it, so we don't have to worry about it.
Let's
anymore.
move on to the next
Yeah,
section.
525 kids not knowing where in God's name they're going to be in lost America.
All right, let's talk about our next section, which is race in America. And I want to talk about the way Black and Brown Americans experience race in this country. Part of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income. Parents who feel they have no choice but to prepare their children for the chance that they could be targeted, including by the police, for no reason other than the color of their skin. Mr. Vice President, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do. You know, my daughter is a social worker, and she's written a lot about this. She has a graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania in social work. And you know, one of the reasons why I ended up working on the east side of Wilmington, Delaware, which is 90% African American, was to learn more about what was going on. What I never had to tell my daughter, if she's pulled over, make sure she puts, for a traffic stop, put both hands on top of the wheel and don't reach for the glove box because someone may shoot you. But a black parent, no matter how wealthy or how poor they are, has to teach their child, when you're walking down the street, don't have a hoodie on when you go across the street. Making sure that you, in fact, if you get pulled over, yes sir, no sir, hands on top of the wheel, because you are, in fact, the victim, whether you're a person making child of a $300,000 a year person or someone who's on food stamps. The fact of the matter is, there is institutional racism in America. And we have always said, we've never lived up to it. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. Guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it. We've all constantly been moving the needle further and further to inclusion, not exclusion. This is the first president to come along and says, that's the end of that. We're not going to do that anymore. We have to provide for economic opportunity, better education, better health care, better access to schooling, better access to opportunity to borrow money to start businesses. All the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear plan as to how to do those things, just to give people a shot. It's about accumulating the ability to have wealth as well as it is to be free from violence.
President Trump, same question to you, and let me remind you of the question. I would like you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
Yes, I do. And again, he's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing except in 1994 when he did such harm to the black community. And they were called, and he called them super predators. And he said that. He said it, super predators. And they kept never lived that down. 1994, your crime bill, the super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform. Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance of doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a pretty picture. And everybody knows it, including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, gee, we have to defeat him. Criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina. He came in with this incredible idea for opportunity zones. It's one of the most successful programs. People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary, the Black and Hispanic communities, and then historically Black colleges and universities. After 3 years of coming to the office, I love some of those guys. They were great. They came into the office and they said, I said, what are you doing? After 3 years, I said, why do you keep coming back? Because we have no funding. I said, you don't have to come back every year. We have to come back because President Obama would never give them long-term funding, and I did. 10-year long-term funding, and I gave them more money than they asked for because they said, I think you need more. And I said, the only bad part about this is I may never see you again because I got very friendly with them, and they like me and I like them. But I saved colleges and universities.
Okay, and we're going to talk about both of your records, but your response to that, Vice Chair.
My response to that is I never, ever said what you accused me of saying. The fact of the matter is, in 2000, though, after the crime bill had been in the law for a while, this is the guy who said, the problem with the crime bill, there's not enough people in jail. There's not enough people in jail. And go on my website, get the quote, the date when he said it. Not enough people. He talked about marauding gang, young gangs, and the people who are going to maraud our cities. This is a guy who, in the Central Park five innocent Black kids, he continued to push for making sure that they got the death penalty. None of them were guilty of the crimes they were suggested. Look, and talk about granted, he did in fact let 20 people. He commuted 20 people's sentences. We commuted over 1,000 people's sentences. Over 1,000. The very law he's talking about is a law that, in fact, initiated by Barack Obama. And secondly, we're in a situation here where the federal prison system was reduced by 38,000 people under our administration. And one of these things we should be doing, there should be no minimum mandatories in the law. That's why I'm offering $20 billion to states to change their state laws to eliminate minimum mandatories and set up drug courts. No one should be going to jail because they have a drug problem. They should be going to rehabilitation, not to jail. We should fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
Why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you do it? You were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this, but you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing.
We did.
You know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run. I would have never run. I ran because of you. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because of you.
All right, Vice President Biden, your response to that, and then I do have some questions for both of you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope he does look at me, because what's happening here is, you know who I am. You know who he is. You know his character. You know my character. You know our reputations for honor and telling the truth. I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. Character of the country is on the ballot. Our character is on the ballot. Look at us closely.
Let me ask the follow-up. Please respond, and then we're going to have
follow-up. If this stuff is true about Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq, if this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
Right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. No, they're calling you a corrupt politician.
Nobody.
Hey, President Trump, I want to stay on the issue of race. We're talking about the issue.
From hell.
President Trump, we're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
and I have to respond to that.
Please.
Because look,
there
are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plan. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
This is where he's going. The laptop is Russia.
Gentlemen, I want to stay on the issue of race.
You have to be kidding. Here we go again with Russia.
We're going to continue on the issue of race. Mr. President, you've described the Black Lives Matter movement as a symbol of hate. You've shared a video of a man chanting white power to millions of your supporters. You've said that black professional athletes exercising their First Amendment rights should be fired. What do you say to Americans who say that kind of language from a president is contributing to a climate of hate and racial strife?
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. I said, that's a horrible thing. And they were marching down the street. And that was my first glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. I am the least racist person in this room.
What do you say to Americans who are concerned by that rhetoric?
I don't know what to say. I got criminal justice reform done and prison reform and opportunity zones. I took care of black colleges and universities. I don't know what to say. They can say anything. They can say anything. It makes me sad because I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark, but I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. He pours fuel on every single racist fire, every single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists. He's banned Muslims because they're Muslims. He has moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys, last time we were on stage here, he said, I told them to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy has a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have a follow-up.
He made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in?
You said you're Abraham Lincoln.
No, where did that? No. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm saying,
I didn't say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Now, you have done nothing other than the crime bill, which put tens of thousands of black men, mostly, in jail.
All right, let me
you know what?
let me
they
ask
remember
Vice
it because
President
if you look at
Biden
what's happening with the voting right now,
let me ask
they
Vice
remember
President
that we
Biden
treated them very, very badly. Just take a look at what's happening out there.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, their fathers, their uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences. So speak to those families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change the sense, and particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that, in fact, we should not send anyone to jail for a pure drug offense. They should be going into treatment across the board. That's what we should be spending money. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment. That's what we've been trying to do. That's what I'm going to get done, because I think maybe the American people have now seen that, in fact, it was a mistake to pass those laws related to drugs. But they were not in the crime bill.
But why didn't he get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action.
We got a lot of it done. We released 38,000. We got 38,000 prisoners left.
You got nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were released from federal prison. There were over 1,000 people who were given clemency. In fact, we're the ones that put in the legislation saying we can look at pattern of practice of police departments and what they were doing, how they were conducting themselves. I could go on, but we began the process. We lost an election. That's why I'm running, to win back that election and change his terrible policy.
I
Quick
just
response,
asked,
and then we're
I
gonna
just
move
asked
on
one
to climate
question.
change.
Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. You put tens of thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know why, Joe? Because your own fault and no action.
All right, Vice President
Because
Biden, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
We got a Republican Congress. It's answer.
Okay.
You got to talk them into it.
All right.
You got to talk them into it.
We're going to move on to our next section.
Like I
which
did with
is
criminal
climate
justice
change.
reform. I had
Okay.
to talk Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
You did.
we're running out of time, so we got to get on to climate change, please. You both have very different visions on climate change. President Trump, you say that environmental regulations have hurt jobs in the energy sector. Vice President Biden, you have said you see addressing climate change as an opportunity to create new jobs. For each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time? Starting with you, President Trump, you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So we have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I notice Obama goes with all the time. Not Joe. I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard Obama use it. And we have the best carbon emission numbers that we've had in 35 years under this administration. We are working so well with industry, but here's what we can't do. Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took us out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they put us in there, they did us a great disservice. They were going to take away our businesses. I will not sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord. It was so unfair. China doesn't kick in until 2030. Russia goes back to a low standard, and we kicked in right away. It would have destroyed our businesses. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
Vice President
We
Biden.
haven't destroyed our industries.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
Climate change, climate warming, global warming is an existential threat to humanity. We have a moral obligation to deal with it. And we're told by all the leading scientists in the world we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to limit the limit of emissions, will put us in a position where we're going to be in real trouble. Here's where we have a great opportunity. I was able to get both all the environmental organizations as well as labor, people worried about jobs, to support my climate plan. Because what it does, it will create millions of new good-paying jobs. We're going to invest in, for example, 50,000 charging stations on our highways so that we can own the electric car market in the future. In the meantime, China is doing that. We're going to be in a position where we're going to see to it that we're going to take 4 million existing buildings and 2 million existing homes and retrofit them so they don't leak as much energy, saving hundreds of millions of barrels of oil in the process and creating significant number of jobs. And by the way, the whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to create millions of jobs, and it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake. That's what's happening. And what right now, by the way, Wall Street firms indicated that my plan will in fact create 18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street. And I'll create $1 trillion more in economic growth than his proposal does. Not on climate, just on the economy.
President Trump, you're
Today came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan. That his plan is an economic disaster. If you look at what he wants to do, you know, the if you look at his
Nothing to do with
environmental
climate.
plan, you know who developed it? AOC +3. They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for AOC +3. Look, their real plan costs $100 trillion. If we had the best year in the history of our country for 100 years, we would not even come close to a number like that. When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because they want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it could be good directly. They want to spend $100 trillion. That's their real number. He's trying to say it was 6. It's $100 trillion. They want to knock down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small windows. I mean, and many other things.
Okay.
And many other things.
Let me have the Vice President
It
respond,
is
and we're running out of time, and we have a lot more
You'll
questions to
destroy
get
our
to.
country.
So let's hear from the Vice President. I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers. Wait, $100 trillion. Give me a break. This is plan endorsed by every major environmental group and every labor group. Labor, because they know the future lies. The future lies in us being able to breathe, and they know there are good jobs in getting us there. And by the way, the fastest growing industry in America is the electric, solar energy and wind. He thinks wind causes cancer, windmills. It's the fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages, 45, 50 bucks an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President,
Excuse me.
please
We are
respond, and then I have
We
some
are
follow-up.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds, it's very intermittent, got a lot of problems, and they happen to make the windmills in both Germany and China. And the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing.
Find me a
Solar.
scientist said that.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So
False.
it's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. And what about fracking?
All right,
Now we
let
have
me
to ask
allow
about-
Vice President Biden to respond.
Never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is,
Show
he's
it.
flat lying.
Would you rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer we need other industries to transition to get to ultimately a complete zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money and doing it. But it's a transition to that.
I have one more question in this part, and then
Excuse me,
we have.
he was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow. I am against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon because his party is totally against it.
Fracking on federal land, I said. No fracking
You
and
said-
or oil on federal
Let
land.
me ask this
I
final
did.
question in this section, and then I want to move on to our final section. President Trump, people of color are much more likely to live near oil refineries and chemical plants. In Texas, there are families who worry the plants near them are making them sick. Your administration has rolled back regulations on these kinds of facilities. Why should these families give you another 4 years in office?
The families that we're talking about are employed heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic, or Black, or Asian, it's 9 times greater the percentage gain than it was under, in 3 years, than it was under 8 years of the 2 of them, to put it nicely. 9 times more. Now, somebody lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it, and I saved it again a number of months ago when oil was crashing because of the pandemic. We saved it. We got, say what you want about relationship, we got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back, way back. We saved our oil industry, and now it's very vibrant again.
All right.
And everybody has very inexpensive gasoline. Remember
Vice President Biden, your response, and then we're going to have a final question for both of you.
My response is that those people that are what they call fence lines, she doesn't understand this. They live near chemical plants that in fact pollute, chemical plants and oil plants and refineries that pollute. I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claymont, Delaware. And all the more oil refineries in Marcus Hook and the Delaware River than there is any place, including in Houston at the time. When my mom get in the car when our first frost to drive me to school, turn to the windshield, look at the oil slick in the window. That's why so many people in my state were dying and getting cancer. The fact is, those frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying them, it matters how you keep them safe. What do? You impose restrictions on the pollutions, the pollutants coming out of those fence line communities.
Okay, I have one final
Would he
question.
close down the oil
It
industry?
falls.
Would you close down the
falls-
oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's a big
transition.
statement.
It is a big statement
That's a big
because
statement.
I would stop
Why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do that.
statement.
Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. You won't give federal subsidies to the gas, to solar and wind. Why are we giving it to the oil industry?
We actually do
All right.
the solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President Biden, let me give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have to get to the final question. Vice President Biden.
It takes everything out of context, but the point is, look, we have to move toward a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year 2035 is in energy production, by 2050 total.
All right. One
Is he
final
gonna get
question.
China
for both
to do
of
it?
you. No, we're finished with
Is
this.
he
We have
going to get
move on
China
to
to
our
do it?
final question. We have
I'm
to
going
run
to
one final
rejoin
question.
Paris Accord and make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right,
That'll
this
push you
is
to
about
drink it, though.
leadership, gentlemen. And this first question does go to you, President Trump. Imagine this is your inauguration day. What will you say in your address to Americans who did not vote for you? You'll each have 1 minute, starting with you.
We have to make a country totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, etc. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls from people that were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together. We had the best black unemployment numbers in the history of our country. Hispanic, women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas, MIT graduates, #1 in the class. Everybody had the best numbers. And you know what? The other side wanted to get together. They wanted to unify. Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success. But I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything. He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell, and it'll be a very, very sad day for this country.
All right. Vice President Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say, I'm an American president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me. And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because there are enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with systemic racism. At the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what is on the ballot here is the character of this country. Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity, making sure that everyone has an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right, I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half of fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is November 3rd. Don't forget to vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you.
And let's get some motherfucking analysis for the. Here we go, Melania Trump. Let's see. Oh, she masked up now. Now all of a sudden she got a mask on. Oh, now all of a sudden Trump digging for a mask. Let me find out Trump putting on a mask. Look at her. She got to be matching from head to damn toe, looking like a goddamn. Oh, look at how they hugging and embrace. Look how Biden looking at that. Biden looking at Trump like, you son of a bitch. Why I oughta? Trump still refused to put on a goddamn mask. Trump ain't gonna do right, man. Melania said, fuck this, I'm masked up. I wonder how many surgeries Joe Biden had to go through to make his back straight. Because I bet if that motherfucker didn't have all that money he had, he'd have a hunchback. I could tell. Trump still refused to wear a mask, so Trump really think he immune. It'd be funny if that son bitch didn't catch it and then he fuck around and catch it for real. Oh, she got a. I like that little moderator right there. Look at the little elbow bump. Look at the little elbow bump. Okay, all right, all right, all right. I like the little moderator. My whole thing, though. All right, man, we back, man. So, all I'm trying to say is that was some truths and some bullshit all mixed in. Because on the one hand, okay, on the one goddamn hand, well, I tell you the truth. On the one hand, you got Donald Trump. Want to blame Biden for everything that happened in the Obama administration, even though Biden wasn't the goddamn president. So on some shit you could blame Biden for, because some shit he, like the 94 crime bill, he got to take. But you can't blame him for every bad thing that happened in the fucking Obama presidency, and then at the same time try to distance him from everything that happened good in the Obama presidency. Because it wasn't just like the Obama presidency was just straight fucking bad. So on one hand, he's trying to pin every bad thing that happened under Obama on Biden, but not to count the fact that he just keeps saying that Biden is going to run the economy in the ground and we'll have a depression the likes of which we have never seen. But in all actuality, the Biden and Obama administration, when they left out of office, they left Trump a surplus. Right? Trump didn't, like, his first 3 years of running and being president wasn't like it was because when Obama came into office, dumbass George W. Bush had us in a recession. Right? Everybody could understand that Barack Obama inherited a fucked up economy from George Bush. He inherited a recession. He turned the economy around, handed Trump a surplus, right? The economy was on the uptick. Unemployment was down. The jobs rates was on the increase. I think the economy was gaining millions of jobs a month when he handed and passed the goddamn baton over to Trump. So if Biden and Obama left you a booming, or at least an economy that was growing, right, coming out of a recession, but steadily had growth, and then you had that same economy and kept it growing and everything was good, but right before your presidency ends, because now here we go, you're at the end of your 4-year term, and you have ran the whole fucking America into the ground. The economy is shit. This is going to be the first time that we've had a president to actually lose a net number of jobs. When the election comes in 2 weeks, Donald Trump will have lost, the first president in U.S. history to lose jobs. This nigga gonna be the first nigga that ever end his presidency and have lost jobs. Nobody's ever done that. Basically, he's sending the country into his 7th. This is gonna be his 7th bankruptcy. I don't know why Biden won't talk just regular layman terms so people can understand. Nigga, when you finish being president, this is, you can add this bankruptcy to your record too. This is gonna be bankruptcy number 7. You have bankrupt the country, right? Unemployment is outrageous. We still got this dumbass coronavirus that's now back on the uptick. I think we reaching like 60,000 cases a day, the most it's ever been. We ain't even get out the first wave yet. We're still at the most cases ever, nigga, since the coronavirus started. Now they're starting to record the most cases ever. Plus it's the goddamn wintertime. Okay? You got businesses that ain't getting no help because y'all motherfuckers won't pass no stimulus package, right? So you got not only businesses that have been lost and had to shut down due to the pandemic, but businesses that ain't never coming back. It's people that ain't never gone. Them restaurants, them motherfucking bars, these are people's livelihoods. This is people's life that they invest their whole life into, right? That's the American dream. You want to become your own boss, be an entrepreneur, run your own business. There are hundreds of thousands, millions of fucking people who are going to be out of work and have lost their businesses, and they will not be getting. That's the crazy shit that people don't realize. That when this shit happened, these are real human beings, and these human beings will not be getting their businesses back. Right? Not under the Trump administration, because he don't got no plan to fucking make people whole. Right? He keeps giving trillions of dollars away to Wall Street. He keeps giving trillions of dollars away to billionaires. He keeps giving trillions of dollars away to motherfuckers who already got billions of dollars. And then when it comes to motherfuckers who actually need help, like the mom and pop spots that ain't never going to be able to open and have lost their livelihoods, still no help for them, and potentially ain't going to give them no goddamn help. Right? Where's all the businesses? Listen, man, when this shit happened, regardless of who's president, my point is this. The president of the United States made the economy shut down. Right? It was the government's call. The government made the economy. They made people stay home. They basically made people close down their businesses. They basically told people you can't open up. We got these restrictions and guidelines. So you got the government as a whole played a part in causing people and forcing people through no fault of their own to stay at home, shut their businesses, and close their doors. Then go down the line 6 months later, these motherfuckers ain't trying to give the same people you made lose their business by following the law that you put in place. Right? Because a lot of this shit was on the book as law, like certain places couldn't open or couldn't have certain amount of people in it. So the same people that the government forced to lose their business and put these dumbass guidelines in place, now you mean to tell me you're not going to make people whole? You should be paying people's rent, mortgages, whatever the fuck they've lost while you made them stay at home and had to close their business. Right? You should not only be paying their rent and mortgages, but you should also supply them with whatever fucking money they lost while their businesses was closed on a monthly basis. Whatever that business grows a month, the government, being that you made motherfuckers close and you causing people to lose their fucking livelihoods, you should make those people whole. Right? So if a motherfucker have a restaurant and you made a motherfucker close their restaurant for 3 months, you should pay that motherfucker whatever they would have made in them 3 months. The difference, like if you only let them open at half capacity, then you need to be giving them the other half, just like you're doing to these billionaires and giving them trillions of dollars. And not only fucking that, but you should be helping motherfuckers pay their rent, their mortgage, whatever it is that you cause, right? You cause people to lose their jobs, and you made people in certain areas stay the fuck home. And then still you making people reclose down businesses as we fucking speak. So at some point, if the government gonna say, hey, you gotta stay home and you gotta shut your business down, then the next thing that logically would follow would be, but we're gonna make you whole. Whatever revenue you lose while we're forcing you to close this business, when this shit is done, we're not gonna let you get foreclosed on. We're not gonna let you go out of business. When this shit is done and we are able to open back up, we're gonna make sure we keep you whole each month until we can do that. So they need to take every fucking business, instead of giving all this fucking money to Wall Street and all this fucking money to the dumbass stock market, they need to take every fucking business, find out what the fuck it is people worth is, what that business is grossing every month, and they should cover it. And you should cover their fucking expenses and bills if you're gonna make me shut my goddamn business down. Right, if you're gonna force me to shut my business down, this is the way I feed my fucking family, then there's no way you could tell me that a motherfucker. So that should be somewhere in the plan. But Donald Trump ain't gonna have no plan like that. Right? He ain't gonna have no, he gonna motherfucking get reelected if he do. If he could trick y'all dumbasses who gonna vote for him to vote for him, and then you know what you're gonna get? The same thing you getting. It's Nancy and Pelosi and the Democrats. They won't nothing. It's their fault. Right? But he's not showing, and on the other, underneath the table, he's handing all the fucking money to his rich friends. He's handing all the money to his rich friends. Ain't nobody getting shit. So my whole outlook on the whole goddamn thing is I don't see, again, how the fuck is you gonna handle a pandemic and force people to close their businesses down, force people to stay home, force people to motherfucking lose their jobs, lose their business, lose their homes, lose their livelihood. Motherfuckers is in all type of debt, and you steadily taking all of the revenue that we have, all of the money, and funneling it to the top. Right? Motherfucking Jeff Bezos ain't in no predicament where he's about to lose one of his goddamn mansions. And even if the nigga did lose a mansion or two, he's still gonna be good. But you got this mom and pop spot here who's on the verge of being evicted, losing their fucking building, losing their storefront, maybe losing their home. And you gonna say some shit like, well, everything needs to run its course. And you know, those businesses need to shut down. They'll leave opportunity for new businesses to come. We only gonna take care of the motherfucking richest people in the world. The fucking airlines who are worth billions, like I say, Amazon type motherfucking corporations. We'll take care of those people who don't need it, and the fucking very people who need it, we ain't gonna give them shit. Right? The very people who need it, we ain't gonna give them shit. So at the end of the motherfucking day, if you gonna tell me that I gotta close my business, if you gonna tell me that I gotta not go to work and I gotta lose my motherfucking job, then you don't even want to give the unemployment. Like you complaining like, well, if we give the unemployment, people not gonna want to go to work. That's the whole reason I get unemployment, motherfuckers, because I can't go to work because I'm laid the fuck off. Like you don't even want to give people unemployment, but at the same time you tell the motherfuckers they need to stay home. So this shit is nonsensical and is illogical. Right? It's just illogical and it makes no goddamn. And the reason is because they don't got no consistent message. That's one of the major downfalls with dumbass Donald Trump, right? He doesn't have any consistent messaging coming out of his administration, right? You got one fucking, it's like they all got its moving parts that's doing different shit. You got one group saying one thing inside his administration. You got the senators saying another thing. You got these group of Republicans saying another thing. You got the fucking Democrats saying, ain't no cohesion. Ain't no fucking, that's what you call chaos, right? But I think it's not like chaos in the form that is natural chaos. I think that it is a controlled chaos. Because if you notice through all the chaos, what looks like chaos, these motherfuckers are turning into fat rats. What looks like chaos for the rest of us who stand in need and who are suffering, for them is controlled. And they are seamlessly stealing and looting the fucking country. Right? On one end, on our end, it looked like, oh my God, this shit is chaotic. What are we gonna do? What are they doing? They seem like they can't get it together. That's what the front is. They put up for us to see. But behind the scenes, they got it all together because they get filthy fucking rich. They know exactly what to do for their friends. They know exactly what to do for their family. But when it comes to the American people, it's their fault. No, that's not our fault. It's they. Look, Donald Trump gonna blame Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi and Biden and the Democrats, and Chuck Schumer gonna blame Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, both fucking parties are looting, raping, and pillaging the fucking country. Think about that. In the front of the cameras, they blaming each other. Behind the scenes, they're all hugging, kissing, Felice La Vida and shit. And they are raping, pillaging, and looting the country. Trump don't give a fuck about winning or losing. Right? He doing what he got to do because he got pride. But you think that motherfucker care less? You heard what he said, like, well, shit, if I lose, I might have to leave the country. That's what he said. He ain't say that shit as he tried to put it like, oh, Biden's the worst candidate in the world, and if he beats me, I might not be able to show my face in America again. It's because that motherfucker plan on leaving anyway. What the fuck he care if he blow this whole motherfucker up? What the fuck he care if he runs the country into the ground? Like he said, if I lose to Biden, shit, I might have to just leave the country. That just lets you know, you just got to listen to people. That's a thought that's already in that nigga head. Shit, I'm good. When this shit is over, I'm gone anyway. You understand what I'm trying to tell you, nigga? So when you come to me and tell me some shit about dumbass Donald Trump and you think he got love for your country, he got love for your kids, and he care about your families, this motherfucker already said, soon as this shit is over, I'm gone. I'm not living around this motherfucker with all this COVID, all this motherfucking virus going around. And you know the nigga's a germaphobe. That nigga can't wait to get out the motherfucking country. And guess what he gonna leave us with? Shit. Yo, Geeks Cosmic, what's good with you? We got 7-8 Sound say Trump raw dog. That Stony, whatever her name is. You think he gonna wear a Rona mask? Nah, that nigga, he think he damn invincible now. He think he invincible. That some bitch is invincibly stupid. So let's go over the debate. If anybody would like to come up, I'm about to drop the link, man, for a few minutes. If you would like to come up and talk about this shit, give your perspective on what the fuck we just saw, I'll be interested to hear anybody who has something intelligent to add to the conversation. If not, y'all just gonna hear me run my goddamn mouth either way. So I advise you to come up so you can speak your piece. Because I'm a damn sure finna talk. I think overall, man, if we're gonna say judge the debate on who won the debate as far as what side is maybe gonna up their chances of winning, to me, I don't think this shit have nothing to do with that one way or the other. I'm giving you this live. This is my analysis of the whole shit. I'm not listening to nobody else. I'm not copying what nobody else saying. I'm not looking at no other network. This right here live at the portal. Okay, I think that this shit was basically a wash. It was basically a wash. Biden did what he had to do, meaning he didn't fuck up. He didn't pass out. He didn't goddamn start the stuttering. Right? And Trump, and I'm about to call this nigga Chump. No pun intended. And Trump ass, he was kind of presidential in this one. He wasn't really over talking. He wasn't really interrupting. He was even like hospitable to the damn moderator. I appreciate you. Right, Trump is a goddamn something else, man. That nigga, if he ain't nothing else, I'm gonna admit that motherfucker is pure D comedy. He is Comedy Central, live and direct. That nigga told her, after all that bullshit he did the last one, he come out this one to, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Miss Host. I appreciate that. Right, so he was very more presidential. So I guess he got the memo that people was really turned off by him not, like, this is what the fuck we trying to hear with debates for. I really want to hear what the fuck Biden talking about, because I know Trump is a motherfucking liar. And I'm not saying I don't know Biden is a liar, but I like to hear what a motherfucker say before they become president, because then at least we can hold the nigga feet to the fire. But if you keep over talking this motherfucker after he beat your dog ass, then we ain't gonna be able to hold his feet to the fire, because we couldn't hear nothing the nigga was supposed to do. So there was some policy things in there that were covered in the debate tonight with Biden and Trump. One of the policy issues was Joe Biden said he's going to do something about, at least he acknowledged the fact that they putting these poison ass dump sites, right? These motherfucking toxic waste ass sites right next to poor and black communities. So we need to address that. That is the one thing I'm voting on. I could care less about this other dumb shit. Like, none of that shit going to. My point is, I'm tired of niggas running around here at 30 years old. Right, my daughter's turning 15 next year. Right, I'm tired of seeing young kids in their 20s catching cancer and shit, not knowing what the fuck's going on. I know what the fuck's going on. Is these toxic ass chemicals in the water, these toxic ass chemicals and pesticides in the food, and then you got motherfucking dump sites and toxic ass chemical waste sites right next to the fucking hoods, right next to the poor neighborhoods where people, normal, regular Americans, have to fight their way out to get a better life. By the time you fucking fight your way out to get a better life, now you got fucking cancer. You can't even enjoy it. You understand? By the time you make your way out the fucking hellhole in the shit hole that is America, at the bottom of the barrel, at the bottom level that most of us have to fucking climb through. By the time you finally make it out, now you got fucking cancer, so you can't even enjoy it. So what the fuck is the point? So that's what I was very interested in. And then you see they only covered that for, like, that was the shortest thing they covered in the debate, because Trump still wanted to talk about other shit. He don't want to talk about the shit that's important, because he know that's a losing argument for him. Like, yeah, nigga, you giving people cancer with your legislation and the type of laws and shit you're passing. right? With your policies is causing people to catch cancer and disease and die. Really, you for clean water? Really, you for clean air? But you just gave away millions of fucking acres of federal land to open up for drilling? You're for clean air and water? You're for the environment? Who the fuck cares about oil companies? I don't give a fuck about no oil company, nigga, going broke or not going broke. I don't give a fuck if I can't drive a car for the rest of my life and I gotta go back to horseback if my motherfucking kids gonna survive. Nigga, I'll ride a horse then. I go buy a goddamn donkey. I could care less. If it's between me driving a fucking car and me riding on a horse or a fucking donkey, nigga, I guess we're going back to BC then. You could call me goddamn Moses. Okay, because my kids gonna live. So I don't understand what the fuck. This is even an option like, oh, you're going to get rid of the job. Oh, there goes black people in the job. Like, money ain't every motherfucking thing. If it's between money and my fucking health, if it's between money and my kids' health, if it's between money and my family's livelihood of survival, nigga, then I would go goddamn learn how to start fires and make me a fucking bow drill or something, nigga. You could call me goddamn Mr. Naked and Afraid if that's what it's gonna take to keep my fucking family alive, nigga. What the fuck the purpose of making any money? So I'm making $20 an hour, but at the same time, I'm giving my family cancer and killing them. You ain't gonna enjoy the money. All the fucking money gonna be spent on hospital bills, stupid. Yeah, Biden know he made a mistake 7 days time. The motherfucker Ben said he know he made a mistake. He said he know the 98 crime bill was the 94 crime bill was a mistake. He can't not hide to run against that. That's the one thing Trump can drill him on. That's what I be talking about. But this is why it's important to know what you're dealing with. Like if you think Biden's gonna get in there and you're gonna get anything fucking different than what you got with Trump, nigga, you are deluding yourself. It's just because you ain't been in politics, you don't know how politics works, and you just now start paying attention like 6 months ago. Nigga, this is shit that motherfuckers been paying attention, but going through for 30, 40, 50, 60 years trying to get shit passed and changed. You just now start paying attention, and motherfucker that just start looking at politics this year think they got the fucking answers. Nigga, you just got your head up and put your head in the game for everybody who's just now starting to really pay attention to what the fuck's going on since this coronavirus came, and you can't watch your football, you can't watch your basketball, you can't watch your little reality shows and all the bullshit. Right. Since all the bullshit done shut down and made niggas kind of have nothing to do, you couldn't go to work. You got to focus on what the fuck's happening. And now you say, oh, this shit's fucked up. But you got people that been doing this shit forever, realizing and paying attention to what the fuck's going on. People, what I like to call right knowledge. So I'm not also going to be supporting nobody who just started paying attention like 2 months ago and think you got all the fucking answers and you're going to tell everybody what they need to be doing. You need to be sitting back. You need to be investigating. You need to be researching. You need to be getting educated because this is a dirty game. So if you think Joe Biden is your guy, you're sadly mistaken, right? You're sadly mistaken. If you think Joe Biden is going to be, oh, shit going to be good, shit going to be regular, you sadly mistaken. Joe Biden record is fucked up too. Not just with black people, but he just with his fucking mentality and the way he think. And that's why he couldn't really run away from that shit Trump was hitting him with. But that's neither here nor there. Joe Biden has his problems. Right? Joe Biden has his problems. But you just can't get away from the fact that Trump is a fucking... They're both liars. Right? Trump is very cunning. He tried to say like Joe Biden takes foreign money. But that's why he kept saying you and your family, right? Because the story goes that Joe Biden's son was dealing with a whole bunch of illicit and illegal shit. And he was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to be a part of some fucking like energy fucking czar or some shit that he was not qualified for. And basically he got the position because he Joe Biden's son. But for Donald Trump to act like every fucking person and all his kids in the White House, maybe even Barron, who like, I don't know, what the hell is he, like 12 or 13 or some shit? All of them hold positions. And the only reason Ivanka, Ivanka's husband, His sons. Only reason any of them motherfuckers don't hold any positions is just because they your kids. Because they not qualified for none of the shit they doing either. So for you to point your fucking finger at Joe Biden and what he did for his son, and you sitting there letting your fucking kids run and wreak havoc on policy in the White House and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Right? Like your daughter does fashion and she's like running the fucking, I don't know, education system or some dumb shit that the point is she's heading shit that she's not qualified for. Right? She's like over the jobs or I don't know what the fuck he's got these people. Jared Kushner is basically the fucking president. Right? His son-in-law is basically the man. He makes all the fucking decisions. It seems like every time you turn around, Jared Kushner was a part of this deal. Jared Kushner put together that deal. Jared Kushner is in talks with this person. So for this motherfucker to start talking about what Biden did for his kids, nigga, is his kids, shit like that gonna happen. That's normal corruption shit. Everybody gonna look out for theirs, right? So you know, of course, if your dad's the fucking president, you gonna goddamn. That's just normal shit, man. That's gonna happen. It ain't like his dad's supposed to be the fucking president and that nigga's supposed to be living in the hood. Nigga, your daddy was the president, so you know, or your daddy was the vice president, or your daddy's a senator. So yeah, you gonna get. Right? That's like expecting Barack Obama kids when they get older, they should be living in the project. Nigga, they daddy and Barack Obama, you know, whatever happened with them in life, they gonna get somewhere good if they survive. As long as nothing crazy don't happen. That's the goddamn president's daughter. So that dumb shit. That Trump bringing up about his son got money from Russia, getting money from China. Nigga, like Biden said, man, but you getting money from Russia and China. The fuck what my son doing? Because that's what the stories is coming out of that, you know, his son was involved in all this illicit shit. His son also had a drug problem. Okay, what the fuck they got to do about it? Biden's son was a cokehead. Donald Trump's son seems to be a cokehead. Okay, but just because Joe Biden's son is a cokehead, which I think there's a story that came out, that's a fact, doesn't have anything. You can't say, well, because your son's a cokehead, Joe Biden's a cokehead, and your family are cokeheads. No, that means his son did some shit, and maybe Joe Biden has something to do with his son getting the position because he was the fucking vice president. But like pointing the finger and pointing that out ain't shit to me because like you got your whole fucking family right now running, wreaking havoc in the goddamn White House. From his daughter to his sons to his son-in-laws. They won't do shit with wind except blow old man farts. You could set up a stage outside for the portal show and ride on it. Old Town Road it, man. I don't give a damn about no damn oil and all this dumb shit, man. If you telling me I gotta choose between oil and my daughter's health and my son's health and my fucking health and my mother's health, nigga, I say keep that goddamn oil, nigga. We go back to caveman days for all I care. Like, nigga, I'm not gonna. Yeah, it's not worth it to me. Nothing's worth. Right. The only reason that I would live and the only reason I want to survive is for my lineage, for my children, for the things I love, for my family. Right. I want to see them prosper. If I could make all the money in the world, but I can't have my kids, I can't have my wife, I can't have my mama, I can't have my aunties, I can't have my cousins, I can't have my brothers and sisters, but I can make all the money in the world, I would say, okay, I will stay over here where I'm at and keep that goddamn money. Because what the fuck is the money worth? Right? You can have all the money, but everything you love and you know, everything that you can use this money for, we're going to take from you. So at the end of the goddamn day, oh, y'all can't hear me? So what you saying is this whole time I'm skipping. Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Let me change my mic up. Well, thanks you for saying something. Damn, when was you gonna tell me after I end the shit? Then say, "Oh, you skipping, Portal." Let me change my damn mic up. Let's see. Okay. Mic check, mic check. A 1 2 1 2. My mic is fine. Why are y'all playing games with me? I'm fine now. So was I skipping or wasn't I skipping Miss Bevy's crafty plans? Got me over here goddamn fumbling around with these mics. Can you hear me now? You heard it all? Bevy, you need to go check. You got that bootleg internet, baby. You got that goddamn bootleg internet. I ain't the one skipping. The other mic was better. Oh my God. The other mic was better. Let me see. I hate listening to myself. Let me hear myself. Hold on a goddamn second. So, like, what this mic sound like? He said, nah, son, I got Verizon. I got Verizon. This mic fine. Y'all hear me? He said she got goddamn Verizon. You got that goddamn Pfizer. That Pfizer, you just got that Zun. You got that Zun. You need to call Verizon, baby. Can you hear me now? Good. She got that. Can you hear me now? Good. Hey, much love to everybody who's up in the building, who's up in the chat. So, like I was saying, though, man, all this shit about this, basically, to me, is really, I would give that to Trump. Because at the end of the day, Trump is really the fucking president, so you need to do something. Well, I would give it to Biden. I'm not even going to say I would give it to Trump. I would give that win simply to Biden because he's so far ahead of Trump in the polls. Right? This ain't like no normal election where the motherfucking incumbent has the advantage. So being that Biden is leading this motherfucker by double digits nationally, I think the last polls I seen was like 10 or 11 points, but it's fluctuating anywhere between 10 and 14 points nationally. Being that Biden is up by so much, like Trump needed to do something spectacular to change people's minds for those who didn't vote, to get them to vote for him. And right now, you got to look at the man who's ahead has the advantage. So in this case, Biden will have the advantage. He didn't do anything to lose. This shit was pretty boring and basic. They really didn't even cover anything in detail. Like when they got to what I was interested in to hear what they gonna do about this, what I call, and what some people might call, not just economic injustice and racism, but environmental racism. When I say environmental racism, I'm talking about the fact that they like to bring all those poison ass sites and all those dump sites and that toxic waste and shit next to black folk and poorer communities, white folk too. But we all know that the generational wealth gap, like you heard what Cube said earlier, for every motherfucking white family they got $120,000, the black family ain't got but $200 goddamn dollars. Right? Every white family worth 120, 100. The average white family worth 120, $140,000. And the average white black family is worth $200 fucking dollars. What we even talking about, nigga? Basically, the average black family, nigga, is one paycheck short of being fucking homeless or not being able to survive and pay their bills and eat, right? So, at the end of the day, we ain't covered none of it. They got on the racism thing. I don't know. I can't. Let me try to remember. What did they say about racism? Nothing really. The same old shit. Trump basically like, yeah, he don't know. He has done some shit for black colleges and put some money here and put some money there. He did a very minimum on prison reform, but he did something. But he did make valid points in what I've been saying the whole time. Now, okay, we know what Trump is. Okay, let's just say Trump is a piece of shit. He's a liar. He doesn't do anything for black. But Joe Biden, like he said, what have you done, nigga? And he couldn't say nothing. All he could say is what Trump didn't do, or what Trump haven't done, or Trump lying. Because we trying to say, what have you done? Right? In your 47-year career, what have you done? Right? You was goddamn the second. You was you was the right hand to the black man. You was the right hand to the only black president.
then Biden gonna say some dumb shit out of his mouth. That's why I tell you, both these motherfuckers be lying. He say, well, we couldn't get nothing done because we didn't have the Senate. Right? The Republicans were blocking us. But for the first 2 years of Obama's presidency, they controlled the House and the Senate and the presidency. They had all three. He could have passed, Biden and Obama could have passed whatever the fuck they wanted the first 2 years of their presidency, and they chose to do shit for rich and wealthy folk. They chose to give all that money away to Wall Street. They chose to give all that money away to them fucking banks. They chose to give all that money away to them big corporations. That's what the fuck they focused on and chose to do. While people were getting kicked out their homes, people were getting foreclosed on because of the fucking bubble bursting and the economic crisis. My family went through it. Right? People were losing businesses left and right. And they focused on helping motherfuckers who didn't even really need no help. Right? You focusing on motherfuckers that's worth billions of fucking dollars. So they focused on that shit. And then by the time it was time to go focus on something else, the people got tired of your ass because you didn't do nothing for the people. You thought people was going to vote for Democrats and motherfuckers is losing their homes all around the country and white folks is losing their goddamn homes, Obama, when your dumb ass was in there? You thought you was going, what, 2 years are going to go by, you were going to win the Senate again? You thought the Congress was going to get reelected after you chose to not focus on the people, after talking about all that hope and change shit, and all you did for your first a couple years was focused on big businesses and corporations and bailing motherfuckers out while everybody else was struggling. Then you surprised that the Senate got flipped and then the Democrats lose the majority. So then you like, oh, well, now we can't do nothing because they got the majority. They won the seats and now but when you had the fucking chance to do something, they did nothing. They did nothing. They controlled, they could have pushed through the Democrats could have passed any motherfucking bill they wanted in Barack Obama's first 2 years of his presidency. They could have did whatever they wanted. They had the Senate and Congress and the presidency. They had all three branches. They could have did whatever the fuck they wanted. They had the majority. And guess what the fuck the Democrats did? Not a goddamn thing. Not nothing worth nothing for people like us. Right, so at the end of the motherfucking day, that's just something that I keep saying that Biden not gonna be able to answer. Right, all this shit about blaming the other guy and bullshit ain't gonna cut it. Hey, yo, what's good with you, bro?
What's up, pimpin'? Hey, bro, what you arguing about, dog?
Shit, I'm not arguing. I'm just running my live stream.
Shit, bro, I think you just stressing it, bro, with the damn election, fool.
You hear me? Hold on a second.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, can you hear me?
Hold on. Let me fix my audio. Okay, you hear me better now, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. So what you were saying?
Man, you stressing it over the election, bro. Too much.
No, I'm not stressing, my nigga. I've been through this shit my whole life, nigga. I'm from the hood. I'm from where I'm from, bro. No matter who president for me. I live the same life I've always lived. Nigga, it didn't matter if Barack Obama's in there, Donald Trump's in there. What the fuck I care? Life for me on down here on the ground level with my kids and shit. Shit, we always been in a recession, my nigga. We do what we got to do where I'm from, partner. I'm just speaking in general and broad terms because I'm covering politics. So I'm just trying to inform the people. It ain't about stressing. It's about being educated. You feel me? When you educated, like I'm educated enough to know that I don't have to stress about shit because I really pretty much know that this is, it's all political theater. Motherfucker gonna say whatever. But motherfucker ain't gonna do shit. It don't matter. You got Donald Trump in there. It don't matter. You got motherfucker Joe Biden in there, my nigga. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, nigga, I gotta get up. I gotta hustle. I gotta grind. I gotta work. Right? Them niggas ain't giving nobody nothing. What it do matter though, why I be talking about it matters because I don't know where you from, but if you come from like where I'm from, I'm tired of seeing my homies, young niggas in their 30s and early 40s with cancer, sick and shit. And I'm tired of burying niggas. And I'm tired of motherfuckers going to the doctor, having to get operations and chemo and all type of shit, and then doctors don't know why people getting sick. Like my brother's sick and the doctor can't tell him where he get cancer from. It ain't from smoking, it ain't from drinking. We all know. I'm tired of shit like that. Right? I want my kids to avoid. I want my kids to bury me. I don't want to have to be in a position like one of my peoples that I know who got a kid and they like 40 something. Their kid is like 20 something, and their kid is already going through major health issues and concerns. So it's a good chance that that parent, right, my homie gonna have to bury their kid. Like, yeah, I don't want that shit to happen in my own. So that's why shit is important. You feel me?
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah, like shit like that don't really stress me out, but it just make me know the importance of certain shit. So on one level about making money and shit, it is what it is for the people. We on our own. It's always been like that. We gotta scrap, hustle, do what you gotta do. But on the other hand, as far as motherfuckers, like I got people I want home from prison, right? I need these niggas to change these dumbass drug laws that they got. I got a lot of good. I'm talking about like real family that's locked away, right? Got another 8 years, 5 years, 7 years, right? We all struggling, trying to come together and take care of niggas' kids and shit because niggas' kids is out here without no fathers in their life. And plus, I've been in the box, so I know, and I done had a taste of it. I know how it is, right? So you know, I'm tired of all that shit. And then niggas is in there for weed charges and dumb shit. Right? So like, you know, this shit is important because shit like that, I'm not even worried about the money issue or hustling because nigga gotta hustle. You gonna have to work and do what you gotta do to survive. But I'm talking about these bullshit laws that they put on our communities that we gotta goddamn suffer under. Because them motherfuckers don't gotta suffer them. They just make these dumbass laws and policies, expect us to abide by them. Then if we motherfucker make one little mistake, that's your ass nigga for life. It can equal your death. But if they make a mistake and do the shit, they say, oh well, you know, that was just an accident. I mean, gotta give him a second chance. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. Come on. We're gonna give him probation, a little slap on the wrist. But when my son go in there, we're gonna give him goddamn 7-8 years, mandatory minimum. Fuck up his whole life. My son is an animal and a threat to society. Your son is a motherfucker. He just made an honest mistake. He's a good kid. So this is the type of shit that I'm talking about. You feel me? That's the shit that get under my skin, man. Because I see what these motherfuckers be doing to us. You understand? I see what these motherfuckers be doing, and it's frustrating when you know motherfucker fucking you raw, right? And you feel helpless. You ever like a motherfucker? Just imagine getting raped, nigga. Imagine if every day you woke up, you had to get raped by somebody and you couldn't do shit about it. So it ain't a fit about point about stressing. I'm at the point now where, you know, I'm nigga, you gonna stop raping me. I'm done with that shit. You ain't taking my booty no more, nigga. Can you relate to that? Oh, Papa Chulo don't want to talk about that. Okay, I see. But anyway, for y'all who are listening to me, that's where I'm coming from. Like, I'm tired of these motherfuckers sitting here just straight raping me. I know we're coming. They're going to rape me tomorrow just like they raped me yesterday. And I'm not going to just keep sitting here bunking the fuck over and letting the nigga rape me. So you going to, as something going to give, nigga. Geek say, my friend died on September 28th from cancer. He was 26. Yeah, my point. That's my point exactly, Geek. Right. That's my point exactly. So it ain't just only affecting the black community, even though that's predominantly what it affected. That's what they put it. But unfortunately, some white folk got to live in black communities. Right. I.e., some white people wind up having to live in the hood. So do Mexicans, and so do Puerto Ricans, and so do some Chinese people. Right. So even though we call it the hood, like some people might say, I think I talked to somebody earlier, it was like, well, the hood where I stay at is gentrified now. They call it gentrified. That means, you know, it's white folk and everything in the hood now. I think Lucia D was talking about that, how they are gentrifying places. So it's not only affecting black folk no more. You got blacks, whites, Mexicans, all of us wind up in the same place. And now white people starting to see, like, why the fuck is we getting sick?
Damn.
So, you know, I'm just tired of that shit, man. Like, I'm about done.
Because I had a cousin that passed away because of cancer, bro. So I know how it feels.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That shit crazy. How old were they?
He was 24, bro. He had leukemia. He passed away like 2 years ago.
You know where that shit coming from, bro? That shit coming from the water and the food. That shit poison, bro. Right? Yeah. Every day you working hard. Every day you busting your ass to make an honest living. You juggling your 2 jobs. You moving to this state to chase the money and do the paper thing. You young. And then you fuck around and wake up at 24, 25 and you goddamn fighting cancer. You done did everything you supposed to do trying to survive the right way. But yet the whole time the money that you're making is only to pay for the fucking food that you're eating that's poisoning you. That ain't no right. There ain't no need to make the money. Like, I'm going out here to hustle to make all this extra money, But at the same time, when I go to my grocery store and I'm eating and buying my fucking food, I'm poisoning myself. Like, what the fuck is the point of making the money if I can't enjoy it and live? So that's what I be talking about, man. These motherfuckers like Joe Biden's and Donald Trump's they know this shit. Like, they know. You heard it tonight. They talked about it, but they covered it real. They just skimmed away from it. That's what I'm talking about. They don't know it. See, they need a good moderator. Like, they need a motherfucker to focus. You need to give a motherfucker more than 10 minutes to answer, 2 minutes to answer a fucking question. Right? So when they brought up that question about the toxic dump sites by the neighborhood, she said that, and I was like, ooh, interesting. That shit was over in like less than 5 minutes. He got 2 minutes. Then they got like 30 seconds apiece, and both of them didn't want to talk about it. You see how quick that segment went when she brought that shit up? Now, when it was some other shit about your son did this and your son did coke and that theatric shit and that he and everybody laughing because they, some comedian type shit, they stayed on them topics forever. When it came to some real shit, like why the fuck you keep putting all the poison by the black neighborhoods? They hurried up. They didn't both over talk each other, nothing. They let motherfuckers answer. Okay, let's move. I want to address the other thing. I don't want to talk about this shit. So this is the type of shit that I'm talking about. And then we got people like Papi Chulo. We got Geeks Cosmic said his friend just passed away and he was 26 from cancer. Right? These motherfuckers is poisoning us. So on that level, it matter who the fuck's in there. Because you got one motherfucker like Donald Trump who don't believe in science. Right? The motherfucker think windmills cause cancer. You hear what he say. If it's over the money in the oil or your motherfucking life, he's gonna choose the money in the oil. He don't give a fuck if you catch a cancer. He don't give a fuck if your kids are dying. He don't give a fuck about your mama. If your ass can't come to work because you catch cancer, you're going to leukemia, they're going to cut your insurance, and guess what? They're going to replace your ass with somebody else, and you just going to die away. You become a liability. They get rid of you. They're going to hire somebody to take your goddamn place, and then, the cycle goes on. I tell people, what the fuck is the point of working and getting a good job and you sitting there talking about you working for this type of corporation or this type of that's fucking poisoning the neighborhoods, and you got this great job making $20-some an hour, but at the same time, all the money that you make and whatever you could save is gonna wind up going to all your hospital bills, because that's what the fuck's gonna happen eventually, right? Because you don't have to pretty much live in the neighborhood you're working in. You're gonna live close enough by, so your shit. You helping tear down you helping poison your own area. So it don't matter all that bullshit money you making. Then they ain't gonna want to give you no insurance, right? This nigga Trump trying to cut the pre-existing condition. So if you do get sick and you do got cancer, nobody gonna want to give you no goddamn insurance. They gonna say you high risk, nigga. And nigga, you sick already. What the fuck? We can't do nothing for you. So at the end of the day, man. Like I say, man, it's just about being educated and know where the real fight is at. All this dumb shit that they talking about ain't what y'all need in my opinion, is not what people need to be paying attention to. This is all theatrics. The only thing that matter is what the policy gonna be. What the fuck we talking about here? Fuck all this who son did what, fuck who snorting coke, fuck who fucking whoever. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all personal life. I don't give a fuck if you want to do coke and your son want to do coke and you want to fuck porn stars and you want to get peed on, nigga, and you want to grab motherfuckers by the pussy. This nigga want to take money from Russia. He want to take money. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit.
Whoa. What you mean peed on, bro? What the fuck you get that shit from?
They had a story out a while back.
Hey, bro.
Donald Trump like to go to Moscow. He like a story back in the day that Donald Trump like to go to Russia and have the Russian prostitutes pee on him. That was one of his fetishes. He liked the motherfucker. Nigga, I'm telling you, nigga, look it up.
Yeah, bro. I heard that motherfucker likes to pee in girls' butts, bro.
Nah, he like to do that pee shit. He like to get peed on.
Shit.
Like, he like for women to stand over him and piss on him.
Oh hell no.
He would pay prostitutes, like he would pay prostitutes, Russian escorts, right? He would pay these call girls to do that for him to pee on him. I don't know if the shit true. I'm just saying. Like, I don't give a fuck about none of that. If the nigga like to get peed on, the nigga like to get peed on. I mean, some nigga like to get peed on. If the pussy good enough, shit, I might let her pee on me. If that's what it's gonna take. You feel me? Nigga, if a girl got that wop, nigga, and the only way you could get it is you let her pee on you. Nigga, you'll be looking over your shoulder like you ain't gonna tell nobody, is you? Nigga, you ain't finna walk away from it. You don't want to answer that shit. He goes silent on that. If a girl walked up to Papa Chulo and she was bad enough and she had that goddamn wop, or he thought she had that wop, and she said, "Well, the only way you gonna be able to hit this shit is if you let me pee on you." You think that nigga ain't gonna look over
Listen,
it?
bro. I ain't gonna give you all the secrets now. All
You
right.
think that nigga ain't gonna look over it? You ain't gonna tell nobody. You better not tell. You promise? You promise you ain't gonna tell nobody about this?
Motherfucker.
Oh shit! I'm just saying, man. Shit, I done been peed on before. It ain't that bad.
Wait, what? This motherfucker, dude.
Oh shit! You never fucked the girl and she peed? No, you gotta keep fucking around, man. I done had sex with a girl before she had peed on my dick. She couldn't hold it. Like she had to pee real bad, but I guess she was trying to hold it because she didn't want me to stop. And then when I pulled out and she nutted, she peed at the same time. I said, God damn. It was kind of sexy though. I ain't gonna front. I mean, I didn't get like too mad at nothing. I was just like, don't do that shit no more. But I didn't like break up with her and no shit.
You're just like,
Anyway, man.
okay.
Yeah, anyway, man. I don't even know why you made me bring that story. That's
Bro,
for
you're
Freaky
the one
Friday.
that's talking about it,
I'm
bro.
gonna bring
I'm the
that's my
one that
Freaky
just been
Friday.
pee on.
I'm,
What the fuck?
I'm gonna bring up the time I got peed on. That's a Freaky Friday story.
Yeah,
I'm
bro. That's what
sure
I
she
said.
just didn't
I ain't about
squirt.
to give you the secrets, bro.
I think she squirted and peed at the same time. She might have squirted, man, but
Did you ever have a girl shit on you, bro?
now the goddamn I be that. Now you crossing the goddamn line. Now they cross the line. Ain't nobody never shit on me. Pee and shit is two different damn things.
You never fucked a girl in the ass? Is that what I'm hearing? You never had an anal with a girl?
Yeah, but you talking about like shit on my dick?
Like, not shit on your dick, but
Hey
you
man,
feel
this
me?
is a monetized stream. Hey man, what are you talking about? Hey man, we supposed to be talking about politics, nigga.
Bruh,
Bruh, we supposed to be talking about goddamn Joe Biden and Donald goddamn Trump. Stay focused.
bruh, you're the one that fucking lost fucking track, bro. You're the one that said you got peed on, dude. So that has nothing
Okay,
to do
I
with
was
fucking
gonna be on
politics,
you
bro.
talking about donkey, nigga. I knew not to let this nigga up here. This nigga, Bev's laughing like Portal. Make a shout out to you. Oh, make a shout out, Bev's. How the hell we supposed to be talking about politics, man? God damn. I'm gonna have to edit this part out for sure. Hey, come back on Friday. We do Freaky Friday tomorrow. We're gonna talk about it. Poppy, if you come back tomorrow, make sure you here. We're gonna talk about this shit. It's a good Freaky Friday topic. It ain't even at the
So
12 o'clock yet, so I can't even say, well, at least it's at the 12. It ain't even 12 o'clock. I had to lost damn track of what I was doing. Oh, like I can say, I can care less if these niggas want to be peed on, if they want to be shitting on, who doing coke, whose son stole money. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. The only thing I'm trying to hear and pay attention to, which everybody else should be trying to hear, is what the fuck policies y'all, nigga, what type of laws y'all talking about passing? Y'all talking about doing something about this bullshit. Everybody know that this is a joke. Everybody know the shit is racist. It's meant to lock up Hispanics. It's meant to lock up fucking blacks. It's meant to lock up poor white folk. Everybody know the way the criminal justice system is made is a fucking joke. Everybody know that. Goddamn, in half of the country you can smoke weed and it's legal, and the other half of the country you could go to jail. You got half of niggas right now smoking weed, chilling with their girl, having a good time, and the other half you got niggas hiding, shit in their butt cracks, trying not to go to jail. Right. So this shows you that this shit is nothing to do with law and order. Right. If half of the country something's legal and people can do indiscriminately, then the other half of the country, a motherfucker could lose their life, like years out their life, hundreds of thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands of dollars, depending on if you got to make bond, you got to pay lawyers, the court fee, the court costs when you come home, you're on parole, you're on probation, you got to pay that shit. You got to pay to get your license back. Right? People come home, you $12,000-$13,000 in the hole. Right.
all
So
I'm saying is, bro, this is probably the worst election like ever, bro. Like I don't like neither. I don't like neither, bro. First of all, because I mean,
yeah, they both pretty.
I'm a guns person, right? I love guns. So tell me, why the fuck would Joe Biden want to fucking get rid of guns?
That nigga not getting rid of guns, dude. He been in politics 47 years. He never got rid of guns, not one time. He never tried to get rid of guns. Everybody said Obama was gonna get rid of guns. Obama was president for 8 years. They never got rid of guns. This is just something the white people tell you, my man. My man. This is something Republicans tell people to scare them from voting for Democrats because they know a lot of people like their guns. Think about it. Joe Biden and Barack Obama was president for 8 fucking years. If they wanted to get rid of guns, they would have, like Trump kept saying tonight, right? If he wanted to do it, he would have did it. Joe Biden's been in the goddamn politics for 47 years. He was a senator and he was a fucking vice president. He never once tried to take anybody's guns away. Never. Right? So at the end of the day, that's not the truth. And all you have to do is just use logic. You got to remember, you was old enough to remember when Obama won. Didn't all the white folks tell you Obama was gonna take the guns? Oh my God, he's
well, I didn't have no fucking Republican tell me, dude. I can't remember where the fuck I heard it, bro.
But think about this.
Well, ever since then, dude, that shit stuck in my head. I was like,
you remember
fuck
they
this
kept saying
nigga.
Obama was gonna take all the guns? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Everybody was scared about that shit. Remember the people was buying bullets because they thought he was buying up all the bullets at one time and all that crazy shit? I remember,
bro. Nigga, I will never run out of bullets, bro. I just fucking got contact on speed dial, bro.
I remember bullets started getting low and everybody thought Obama was trying. He said, oh, he's not taking the guns, but he's going to try to buy all the ammunition so nobody have no ammunition to use, which made everybody go in the stores and start buying the ammunition, which made the ammunition run low. So then it really looked like the nigga was buying up the ammunition because everybody was petrified. But my point being is, you see, there's more guns than there's ever been. Right? He never tried to take the guns. He never said he was going to take the guns. He didn't take the guns. In fact, there's more guns in the country than there's ever been. Everybody got a motherfucking gun. Nigga, you probably got 2 or 3. So don't worry about that. Like, that's all bullshit to keep you. Joe Biden ain't taking nobody motherfucking guns. Joe Biden ain't taking nobody guns, man. The white folk ain't going to let that happen. Right, them white folk not gonna let them take. That's why they haven't done it yet. I mean, I'm not saying that they couldn't do it on a certain level, but it ain't gonna happen in like no 2 years or no 1 year type shit. Right. And I don't think that's something that there's too many Mexicans, too many Puerto Ricans, too many blacks, and too many whites love their guns, and ain't nobody gonna vote for that shit. There'll be literally. That should have started civil war. You try to take people's guns right now, especially right now. Yeah. All the Trump people, thank goddamn, they're already talking about a race war. Right? They're already talking about if Trump lose, they going to war. So these are crazy times we live in. You got to cut through all the bullshit. You just got to look at the facts. Right, look at like Papi Chulo was saying, like Geeks Cosmic, like I'm telling you, but we got 24, 26-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds with cancer, dying, going through chemo. Motherfuckers, like my brother got so sick, when he's sick, he can't even hold his children. He's too weak to even lift them up. Right, my brother stopped going to chemo. He said, fuck it, I'm not doing chemo because I can't hold my kids, and if I can't motherfucker hold my kids, then ain't no need for me to live. I'm gonna leave it in God's hands. So the nigga just stopped going to chemo. His hair and shit grew back. He's still alive as we speak, but he just was like, fuck it, this shit gonna kill me and eat my body up, then basically I'm gonna go ahead and go out on the up level, right? I'm gonna be able to hold my kids. I'm gonna be able to do what I need to do for as long as I can, because he's like, I'm not gonna go to chemo, fuck around and don't work and I die anyway, but I'm sick he couldn't drive nowhere, he could barely, he was always sick doing that chemo shit, super weak. Little man ain't but like 3 years old and he can't even lift him, so he was just like, fuck that. Which I understood, right? We all was disappointed in the man. I'm like, damn, nigga, you being selfish. You need to try to beat this shit. He like, man, beat him for what? Right? I gotta go through all this shit. Then it's a possibility. It's a possibility it don't even work. And I'm hit anyway. So I mean, my point is, this is real life situation that people got to deal with. We got to deal with our friends, our family, and potentially yourself. Right? It always seemed like we young and it's all good. But if you ever experienced loss or you ever seen somebody go through that cancer shit, nigga, that is not something you want. I don't give a fuck what you think in your mind. Like, even when people think like, oh, I just want to die. I don't give a fuck what happened to me. fuck life and all this type shit people say until shit really pop off and your ass in there with something like leukemia. That, trust me, that ain't what you want. You don't want no AIDS and no shit like that. You don't want no disease, motherfucker. You think you don't give a fuck. That's just because you ain't got it yet and you healthy. So I would just tell everybody, man, to like focus. And I'm just saying, man, like Ice Cube said, it don't really matter who's in office. If Trump win again, we got to work with that motherfucker. Right? If Trump win, he gonna be the president for the next 4 years. You can't stick your motherfucking head in the sand. You can't just fold your arms and poke your fucking lips out. If the nigga win, he gonna be the president, and then we got to bring that shit to his. We got to bring it to his doorstep, right? If Biden win, the same difference. It don't matter who's in power, but that's who the fuck the people had to come to, because that's who you're gonna have to deal with, whether you like it or not. That's why I don't really, as much as I despise and don't like Trump, and I wouldn't vote for him, but I'm just saying, whether I vote for him or not, or you vote for him or not, if that nigga was to win, then how do we say where I'm from in my hood? We say, nigga, you gotta respect it or check it. And you ain't gonna be able to check the president, so you're gonna have to just respect whoever the president is, right? You gotta respect it or check it. So like, hope the nigga don't win. I would advise people to not vote for him. If you just feel like you just can't vote for Biden and you can't pull yourself to vote for Biden, then just, I would say, vote for, it's a third party, the Green Party. There's a party called the Green Party. You can look on the ballot and vote for the Green Party. That way your vote's not wasted. If you're just like, okay, I can't vote for Trump and I can't see myself voting for Biden. There is a third option called the Green Party. I think Kanye West might be on the ballot in some places, so he's an option. It's fucked up when Kanye West, because I might vote for Kanye. Fuck that shit. You know that nigga crazy. It's fucked up when a nigga might think about voting for Kanye. I think in California they say they got Kanye on the ballot as a fucking vice president pick. He mad. For some reason, I think it's in Cali, they done put Kanye West on the damn ballot. He's supposed to be running for president. Probably a lot of people probably done forgot, but he's still running for president. But they put him on the ballot as a vice president pick. I don't know who the fuck vice president he's supposed to be, because I know Carmela is fucking Joe Biden's vice president, and then you got Mike Pence's Trump vice president. So I don't know how the fuck they did that bullshit. Anyway, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in. If nobody has nothing else to add, Papa Chulo look like he good. He on mute. He riding it out. Lucia D ain't coming up. We got American Cono. Oh, Coño, Maricon, let go. A rat now, Short Bus. Hey, Short Bus still in here. We got Geeks. Hey, we got 7 in the chat. We got 7. Who the fuck gave a thumbs down? Y'all some bitches. Y'all some bitches some damn. Hey, you always got to be together.
Oh, my bad, dude. That was taking care of my kid. He was crying. I had to mute it for a bit.
You good. Take care, little man. I'm about to hop up off here anyway, man. I appreciate you coming up. So you voting?
Hell no, dude. What you mean you about to get off? We usually on all night, dog.
Nah, not tonight, man. I might do another live. I might shut this one down and we might come live on the throw. Lucia D, go live. We gonna go somewhere. Who live? Lucia D, you going live tonight? You didn't been live today, man. Let's come. Can we come mess up your neighborhood?
Maricón, coño, Lego. Dímelo, mamabicho, ya tú sabes, bo. Por la gran puta.
You got this nigga started. It's time to go now. You run the thug out. Instant thug is rugged wrong. Yo, Lucia D, I'm asking you one more. Buy portal, great stream. Nigga, what that mean? You not going live? Yo, Lines, go live, Mr. Lines. What Mr. Lines? Yo, Mr. Lines, you going live?
Yo, what happened to Short Fry, dog?
Shit, I just was chilling with Short Fry yesterday.
I haven't.
She was live in the daytime. You got to catch. She switch up her schedule a little bit.
Been a minute, dog.
She still Short Fry. Yeah, she been off of YouTube for a minute though. Like I just so happened to catch her yesterday. She went live. That's like her first time going live in a month or more.
Yeah. After I was done with her ass, dude. That's why I told you, bro. I was gonna make her ass tap out.
Oh shit.
She know what's
You
up.
can go see that thing for real. You back in you still in North Carolina?
Nah, dude. I'm back in Georgia.
Okay, okay. You in
That's
Georgia
why.
spending you in Georgia spending that North Carolina money, huh?
Yeah. I was in different states, but I'm back here in my hometown. I'm running my own business now. That's why.
What you doing?
Lawn care, dude.
Oh, okay, okay. How's it going?
That's why my good, bro. That's why my other channel is called Masters Lawn Care because I changed it.
What you be doing
Changed the
lives
name
while
of
you
it.
doing your lawn?
I just I haven't gone live while mowing, dude, because I be busy as fuck, you know. Plus, right now leaf season,
It be
all the
loud as hell
leaves and
too.
shit. Yeah, I mean, I get footage and shit, and I try to upload to my channel when I can. You know, it's just I'm so busy trying to catch up.
That's a good thing though, man. Ain't nothing like
Yeah,
working for yourself, boy. Keep that shit up. That's the way to go. So I haven't said I haven't got her notifications. Okay, Lucia D. We trying to find out is you going live or not? Goddamn it, 'cause this is the only thing I'm sitting around waiting for. You're not answering what I need to know. You said throwaway. That means that you setting up a throwaway? Because I'm about to go away. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about here? Oh my God. She said, be right back. This shit is over, people. She hit me with the be right back. You know that means her ass is ghost. Hey, Papa Chulo, man, I appreciate you coming up, my brother. I appreciate you becoming a member. I'm going to push you this week. I'm going to have you on the channel. I'm going to make sure Nightbot drop your link. So you should see your numbers rising, man. Make sure my people become your people. So we're going to help that channel grow. And shit, we're going to grow together, baby. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the portal. Yo, Lucia D. Coño, maricón, let go. Shit, man. All right, blessings, peace, and love to you and all that you cherish. Remember, you ain't got to go home, man, but it's time to get the fuck up out of here. Papa Chulo, I'm going to holler at you, bro. One.
all right, bro.
All right.